This is an iHeart podcast.
Of the age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
This is a 47 Morning Update special edition with Ben Ferguson.
There is no other way to describe it but historic. A Middle East peace deal. President Donald Trump describing it as prayers of millions have finally been answered with the signing of the peace agreement. Now, there is a lot that has happened in the last 24 hours. And this is the part that most are celebrating. Hamas released the final 20 living Israeli hostages that have been held since October the 7th of 2023. Many of them underground the entire time. What we also know is we have witnessed and seen the homecoming play out on TV and social media. Families prayerfully crying, celebrating in tears without words to describe what it's like to see a loved one they thought they may never see again. What happened in exchange is also important. Israel released 1,900 Palestinian detainees and prisoners, including many who had life sentences for their atrocities against the Jewish people. We also know that the bodies of some of the deceased hostages are also being returned. At least 4 caskets have made it back to Israel. The exchange is part of a broader ceasefire, a peace deal framework often referred to as Trump's 20-point plan that was agreed earlier this month. And under the deal, Israel is to partially withdraw troops from Gaza to a designated line, while retaining control over certain security zones, at least initially. Now, the plan envisions handing over administration of Gaza to a body of technocrats rather than Hamas directly, with oversight by international guarantors. The deal also calls for disarmament of Hamas, or at least their relinquishment of overt military control as a condition of long-term peace. A humanitarian aid push into Gaza is also part of the agreement, with large-scale deliveries planned during the ceasefire period. Now, aboard Air Force One en route to Israel, Trump declared the war is over. And in his address to Israel's parliament, Trump framed the release of the hostages as a, quote, new beginning for the Middle East and stressed that the deal is historic. He also reaffirmed U.S. commitment to prevent renewed war, saying he would uphold the ceasefire and not allow hostilities to resume. Trump also joked about pardoning the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and said he would fight for whoever it may be to preserve peace. He thanked those involved, including Middle Eastern mediators, and pushed the 20-point peace plan as the path forward. Every so often, something happens that reminds us just how fragile our freedoms are. We can't afford to take our rights for granted. We must draw a line in the sand. And our friends at Patriot Mobile have been doing just that for more than 12 years. The truth is, there is only one provider that boldly stands in the gap for Americans who believe freedom is worth fighting for. And that company is Patriot Mobile. Not only are they leading the red economy, they're also outpacing the competition in technology. Patriot Mobile is one of the only carriers offering premium access to all 3 major U.S. networks, giving you nationwide coverage and service that you can count on day after day. They also offer unlimited data plans, mobile hotspots, international roaming, internet backup, and so much more. And switching has never been easier. You can activate in minutes on your phone from your home or your office. And you keep your same number you've got now, keep your same phone, or upgrade to a new one. And this is where the magic happens. Every month, about 5% of your bill is given back to conservative causes at no extra cost to you that stand up for our First and our Second Amendment rights, the rights of unborn children, and our wounded warriors and those that have fought for our country and wear a badge. So take a stand today. Go to patriotmobile.com/Ben47 or call 972-PATRIOT. And if you use the promo code Ben47, you're going to get a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/Ben47 or 972-PATRIOT and make the switch today. The president, in his own words, had this to say at the signing. Take a listen.
It's a tremendous day for the Middle East, and you can see that this is probably the greatest assemblage of countries in terms of wealth and power maybe ever assembled, and it's just an honor to be a part of it. We're going to be signing a document that's going to spell out a lot of rules and regulations and lots of other things, and it's very comprehensive, but we've already signed documents in the Middle East and having to do with Israel and Hamas and just about everything else, and it's really working out incredibly well. The hostages, as you know, were let go on time, on schedule. The very sad situation of bodies, which was always a sad situation, and they're being sought out, and they're working with many different people, finding some were brought in and some were not. And they're working out to find out where those bodies are. It's hard to believe that you even have to say something like that. It's so sad. It's so sad. But what's not sad is that we have finally, after, I guess they say 3,000 years, I've heard from 3,000 years to 500 years, but whatever it is, it's a lot. But this was the one, this was the granddaddy of them all. And frankly, I thought this was probably going to be the toughest, and maybe in many ways it was, but we had a lot of good talent. Steve Witkoff, Jared, and Marco, and Pete, and General Kane was so great. John Ratcliffe was incredible. We had an amazing array of talent.
An amazing array of talent that was able to bring all of this to reality. There was even a shocking moment that happened in this country as the media, yes, even some Democrats, surprisingly giving Donald Trump credit for the Gaza deal. One of those was Hillary Clinton, and here is what she said.
It's a really significant first step, and I really commend President Trump and his administration, as well as Arab leaders in the region, for making the commitment to the 20-point plan and seeing a path forward for what's often called the day after. Most importantly, the conflict hopefully will end with the ceasefire. The hostages will be returned. And then the very hard work of rebuilding Gaza, of finding the kind of security that Israel and the Palestinians after Hamas deserve to have, moving forward with the other points in the plan to try to create an opportunity for Palestinians to have a better life and for Israel to have greater peace and security. I am very hopeful that we'll be able to see progress. Today's a good start, but we have to keep going from here.
You can hear Hillary Clinton giving this type of gratitude for the leadership of President Donald Trump, doing something that Joe Biden and his team never got close to doing. And that's not all. The CBS Evening News opening their newscasts saying this about President Trump.
There is more hope for peace in the Middle East tonight than there has been in a very long time. Hamas today released the last of the surviving Israelis held hostage since October 7th, 2023. And Israel, in turn, freed hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and detainees.
This is the first phase of the Trump peace plan. But remember, it is a 20-point plan, and there's still a long way to go. The president was in Israel today, meeting with families of the now free hostages and addressing the Knesset.
The president said the long nightmare for Israelis and Palestinians is over. Now, he said, it is time to turn the battlefield victories against terrorists into the ultimate prize, peace and prosperity for the entire Middle East.
Mr. Trump then traveled to Egypt to sign the peace deal and hold a summit on the future of Gaza and the region.
It's been a day of dramatic split-screen moments, and none more so than the sight of President Trump addressing the Israeli parliament at the final moment as the final hostages crossed out of Gaza and aid trucks rolled freely into Gaza. The result was, after 2 years now of brutal war, the unmistakable hope, the feeling in the air that something big had finally changed.
You listen to that news report. That is honest reporting. And that wasn't the only praise the president received, as even those in the media that can't stand him could not overlook the significance of his leadership bringing peace to the Middle East.
This was very much a peacemaker's speech.
Do you give him credit for this?
Oh, certainly. I mean, this is an incredible accomplishment, an incredible moment.
It's a terrific day for the hostage families. It's a terrific day for President Trump, for our national interests.
He should get a lot of credit. I mean, this was his deal. He worked this out.
Listen, he got the deal across the finish line. There's no question.
Things seem sort of possible now in a way that they didn't necessarily before.
A better future ahead. That's what today represented. It was so powerful and unbelievably emotional.
You listen to those members of the media, those commentators giving credit on networks that never give Donald Trump credit. And it puts into perspective just how significant this moment actually is. Donald Trump's historic peace deal on NBC, they covered it this way.
From the moment he landed in Israel, the words "thank you" visible from Air Force One and billboards here expressing gratitude. President Trump basked in the praise of a country that credits him more than its own prime minister for today's long-awaited reunions. The president's name echoing through Israel's parliament as he touted his landmark diplomatic success.
This is the end of an age of terror and death. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
Netanyahu praising his American ally.
Donald Trump is the greatest friend that the state of Israel has ever had in the White House.
Going off script, the president called on his Israeli counterpart to pardon Netanyahu, who was indicted for allegedly accepting expensive gifts, which he denies.
Cigars and champagne, who the hell cares about that?
The president then heading to Egypt for a peace signing ceremony with Arab nations and other world leaders who back the deal.
Peace has been achieved after untiring efforts led by President Trump.
His landmark diplomatic success, how NBC News described it. As for what the rest of the world is thinking, Netanyahu praising the deal, defending Israel's conduct over the war, and expressed relief and joy over the hostages' return. At the summit held in Egypt, over 20 world leaders, including the Egyptian president, joined with Trump to endorse the ceasefire as well as the post-war plan. And as part of that, several countries committed to being guarantors of the agreement. The U.S., Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey overseeing security and reconstruction in Gaza. The French president called for progress towards a two-state solution and announced plans for a humanitarian aid conference for Gaza. Overall, many nations welcomed the deal they thought was impossible as a vital step towards peace. And many of them said it's time now to get the real work done for Gaza, disarmament, security, and reconstruction. If you just step back and you look at what President Trump was able to do, there is no doubt, as NBC News put it, Trump's historic peace deal, it is his landmark diplomatic success. And it's no telling how many lives will be saved because of Donald Trump's leadership.
Thank you for listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson. Please make sure you hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. And for more in-depth news, also subscribe to the Ben Ferguson Podcast, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
This is an iHeart podcast.